you doing?
Tate McGregor, as I live and
Tim
breathe.
Minchin, as I live and breathe.
Is
How
that
you
your
going?
fucking house?
This is my
Is that how
bedroom.
you live? With green eyes and green nails and rainbows and beautiful knitted hats? And this is just
Do you like my hat wall? Do you like my little, I've even got a cowboy hat up here.
so good.
Look at how
Do
you're living. You stare at yourself at your piano. You've got a
I
little,
stare, yeah. I never look up at myself. That wall looks dominant, but it's actually like tucked around a corner as you come in the door. And I finally put some posters up, and I just want you to know I feel deeply uncomfortable about it.
no. No, I always think you should have a shrine to yourself. Like, it's all about empowerment.
Don't
Celebrate,
say
celebrate the
that.
successes,
You're mocking me. No, I've
I'm
never
not.
had anything up until recently, and I wanted to put my Matildas up. But this is how much I celebrate myself. That's my awards, and they live
wow.
like that.
Oh wow! So just shut away.
Shut away. Yes, it's a bit embarrassing having photos of myself on the wall. But do you know when I put them up? I put them up as my tour got shut down, and I had all these things piled against the wall, and I had empty walls in my office, and I went, I have to remind myself that I had a job once. And people used to like it. I used to be somebody while I sit here answering and fucking emails like everyone else in the world. TateMcGregor.com archive.
Oh no! Do your research.
Briggsy. Who else have you spoken to recently that I know? It's a pretty beautiful website that you...
Oh,
aren't you clever?
What's your website? Let me have a look at you now.
Oh, my website needs an overhaul.
Tim Minchin. Yeah, I'll help you.
It's really old, but see the thing at the top? You'll
Yeah.
see if you wait a second, it'll scroll through and it just keeps telling you what's going. And it's all there. And the thing is, for the About page, the Tim page and the Groundhog Day and Matilda page are proper histories. Like if you wanted to write a book on those subjects, you'd get every detail. So I use it as a proper archive. So especially the Matilda journey and stuff, it's such a big, long journey with so many people, and it's a good record, but it hasn't, the general layout of the website hasn't been changed for 8 years. And that's just shit.
Yeah, it's an interesting purple and black scheme you've got going on.
Right.
Don't know if it shouts you, but you know, it's something.
All right, so good. Well, you've got a good website. I've got an outdated one.
Yeah, we can revamp.
How good is Briggs at branding? Like, how good is he?
Dude, literally.
He's a monster. He puts out all these images? I'm like, how do you?
Sure. I actually found Briggs on a dating app. I think it was like last week. And he has like a photo of him, like Conan's holding a umbrella over his head, and it's like him with like Louis Theroux and stuff like that. I was like, damn, it's like actually like pretty good profile. Like my guy. I wish I had photos like that.
Is he on Tinder or is he on one of these bullshit posh ones? And if the latter one, why the fuck were you on it, mate? Because you're single. Bullshit posh. Because you're single and you're a celeb.
No, not even. Haven't had like a single match. I'm just apparently not for that crowd, which is fine by me.
I think that probably says something good. I sometimes wonder if my wife dropped dead or left me, how I would begin.
Well, yeah, there you go. Ask Briggs then.
And what would that look like? Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that, man.
Is it nice being back home though? Is it nice being back in Perth, despite the circumstances of coming home?
Well, I'm not in Perth now, but because I got home yesterday.
Are you in Sydney now?
I'm in your town, man. All you have to do is invite me to the fucking quiz night. I'll be there.
Do you want to come to that?
No, fuck off. I'm not hanging out with you, cunts. My God.
Yeah. I need an extra team member to absolutely bring Briggs down. It'd be such a good surprise.
I'm not good at trivia. I'd quite like to do that one night. I won't be able to do that tonight, but I'd like to do it.
It's very like 80s, 90s music.
Well, that I'm fucked because I know nothing about music, like quite literally. If you play me a song or ask me an artist, I just have my wife is who you need. She remembers everything.
Okay, we can make it a family occasion.
Yeah. Totally.
Do you normally like kind of keep your head down then and just like listen to your own sort of music? Do you not listen to a
lot? No. You remind me of Caitlin, Caitlin Moran. She was a music journo at like 15. She's like you, obsessed. I don't listen to music very much. And I listen to a bit of pop because with the kids I try to just listen to what they're listening to, and they're not, neither of them's particularly into music. They both play a bit, and they're kind of wired a bit like me. Their music makes them, we don't want music around all the time. We're all probably a little bit just off the spectrum a little bit, like not
Hey,
on
we
the
all love being
spectrum,
a little
but
bit of a
we're all, well, it's a spectrum, right? But we
somewhere.
both don't like too much noise and too much sensory input, like my daughter and me. I listen to like Spotify hits of the week or whatever because there's just a bit of a chuck a thing on, so we listen. But if it's up to me, I tend to listen to jazz actually, but not a great deal. Last month, I would have watched an hour of telly and listened to a couple hours of music other than my own stuff that I have to listen to for making music videos and stuff. I don't know what I do all day. I think I just think my increasingly complicated thoughts just go up I just disappear up my own ass. No, I work all the fucking time, basically.
Yeah, you are a deep thinker. Actually, I wanted to ask you about that. Do you have tools for switching off? Because I am very similar in that I'm super busy minded and I find it very hard to stop working. Like, what do you do? Do you like have designated breaks?
I exercise, so that's every day, and I'm a reasonably happy person. I chat with my kids and chat with my wife and call my siblings. I've got this family, we all communicate a lot. I think I do think being aware of your busy brain and having some way you understand that you shouldn't necessarily just be a victim of every thought that pops into your head. I mean, that's the sort of meditation. People who meditate a lot, and transcendentalists and Buddhists and shit, what they're trying to do is know their brain so that they can decide what thoughts are useful. And that's what cognitive behavioral therapy is, and all that stuff as well. And that general project is not a project everyone has to get on, but it is something that everyone should be aware of, that your thoughts are things that you should have some sense of, like choosing that one, discarding that one, choosing that one, and I'm okay at that. So I'm not too bad with the catastrophic thinking and stuff. So I've got a busy brain, but if your brain's busy, Tate, and half of the thoughts are catastrophic and stuff, then that's worth worrying about. But if it's just busy, then let that be your life,
Yeah, exactly. I don't feel like I'm too, they're not catastrophic. They don't get in the way. They're just
they're not anxious thoughts.
They're not anxious. They're just always thinking about the next project, always thinking about what I need to do, what I'm working on, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I feel what you think about things. Like, think about your thought. I think about my thoughts a lot. So I talk about metacognition. So I'm probably quite by nature metacognitive, as is my daughter. As in, you think a thought and then you think about your thoughts. And it's one of the reasons I'm frustrated by the world, because it looks like everyone's just having their thoughts and not having thoughts about their thoughts. They're just like, this is how I feel, I'm sick. And you haven't gone, yeah, but have you thought about that thought and the origin of that thought and the implication of that thought? Yeah, and what the biases are that came to the thought, the psychological and neurological web that you've built that would make that thought more likely a thought to have than the other thought, and all that shit. That's shit that drives you mad. Again, that doesn't have to be everyone's project, because most people have real jobs. We don't have real jobs, Tate. We get to sit around thinking about our thoughts. But I wish we were all a little bit more metacognitive, a little bit more self-aware. But then you get to my level of self-awareness, which is just tedious. Like, talking to me is just like, oh, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, yeah.
No, Tim, there are so many people who find you interesting. Like, you can do hour-long podcasts, which I've listened to, and I know that like halfway through you're like, oh man, who's going to be tuning in now? But I can attest that people listen through that. Everyone wants to know.
When you say people, do you mean you don't, but you've heard other people do?
Well, I haven't taken a mass polling. I won't lie to you. Please, I listen.
Yeah. I'm interested in the idea of working on the skill of expressing thoughts about the world well. And I think being a long form talker and thinker is a result of that desire to not give trite little answers, what I call fridge magnetism, to not just talk in tropes and sort of cliches. And I think I'm trying to talk about shit we all experience in ways, and that's my whole album, is an attempt to talk about the shit we all experience: love, the passage of time, fidelity, death. They're all universal themes that we all think about, but I'm just trying to make an offer of a piece of art that says, yeah, we all think about it, but have you thought about it like from this angle? You know, and that's my job, is to look at things from a different angle, and often that means blah 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 blah.
I think you astutely put that in your song, if this plane goes down, because you have that line where you're like, I want to be remembered by my turn of phrase, or something similar to that, right?
Oh yeah, phrases can be bent to the will.
Yeah.
Oh, bless you.
It.
Bless you for actually listening to it. Thank you, Tate and Greg.
Oh, absolutely. That's what made me curious. What is your relationship like with death? Do you ever fear that you'll be like, despite how much you've achieved and how much you've loved and things like that, you'll be dissatisfied on your deathbed? As dark as this sounds. Wow.
No, it's a great question. I mean, this is the whole, my whole, I've written a lot about death recently, because I don't know if you'd need to see it. The cast album of Groundhog Day is not a very satisfying listen, because Groundhog Day was all about the way the music and the dialogue so it's a bit of a tough listen, but Groundhog Day is really about how do you live life, and how do you face the inevitability of death. And
yeah, because he's kind of a suicidal character.
This album, it's really about depression. I mean, it's about how to live a life without getting stuck in a funk. That's what Groundhog Day is about. But I think I'm all right. I'm wired to be, part of my brain, perhaps self-indulgent, perhaps tedious, perhaps busy, as you said, or whatever. Part of it is that it's quite present focused. I mean, I have regrets in my life and I worry about things, but I don't spend a lot of time unpacking the past. I'm not very connected to my own. Some people are really always have a story from their past about a thing. They have like a filing cabinet, or their memories of childhood are really strong, and the narrative they draw between that person and the person they are now is really a powerful link. Like, well, when I grew up, this happened, and then that, and that. I sort of like betray past me. My narratives don't, even when I'm talking about journos, and another reason I talk so much is they go, so this happened, I go, yeah, but that wasn't necessarily causal, and obviously it could have gone this way. And because this linear narrative, what they call the halo effect, where you build evidence that your successes are because of your actions, and discard evidence that that you blame. It's in it leaving LA, taking credit for blaming others for their failures, taking credit for their wins. That's all about. We all do that. We narrativize us. We keep ourselves the hero or the victim of our story. And I'm not good at any of that. And I'm not that fussed about. I don't know. I try to worry about death, and the album has several references, and Talk Too Much, Stayed Too Long. Obviously says I don't give a shit if I leave I don't want a statue. I'm not trying to leave. Once my life's over, you just chuck it in the trash, unless someone wants to listen to my records or whatever. But I'm not looking for a legacy. I don't even understand that. I think legacy is a weird instinct. So I guess because I'm a materialist, as in I don't believe in anything, I don't believe in an afterlife or a purpose. I guess I feel, as I said in my uni speech, I don't know if you saw that, which is something that a lot of people have seen. I know I'm referencing myself and it's a bit nauseating, but a lot of people did watch it. I sort of say that the meaning of life is to fill it. And actually Airport Piano is a guy with a blank canvas writing. It's like he's having a midlife crisis and trying to fill the canvas of his life with all his anxieties, And that music video is like a testament to the busy brain.
Oh yeah,
it gets a little bit.
It gets quite chaotic, and then that final just finger on the piano as well. You're like, wow.
Yeah, the tolling of the bell, man. That's the fucking end. True, bro. So yeah, I think wanting, I guess to the extent that I think about death, I think it'd be nice to be cool with it. And I aspire to be cool with it. I aspire to understand that death is an absolutely necessary and profound and beautiful part of life, just like I try to understand that sadness is a part of happiness and all that stuff. It's such obvious shit, but you have to work on it.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that's always in the back of everyone's mind. It's just being human. And I think it's interesting, as you mentioned in Airport Piano, because that one talks a lot about, filling your life, but particularly how you have these like depressed characters who lead this outwardly luxurious life, driving fancy cars
Yeah,
and like having
yeah,
boats and mansions, but really on the inside,
yeah,
they're just shells.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know, and I know it's a trope that money doesn't buy you happiness, but a lot of people don't get to see it close
Yeah,
up,
you have to
and like a
experience
lot of,
that.
I've met a lot of very wealthy, very famous people because of my weird work, and I go, wow, they're not the happiest people I know by a long shot, and you can't until you've seen it. It feels a bit bullshit to say money doesn't buy you happiness, especially when you're really struggling. But of course, that song, I don't know quite how much people. I don't know whether people realize how much it's me I'm questioning, because I don't buy a lot of stuff, but I drive a SUV BMW. I mean, it's 10 years old and secondhand, but it's me I'm holding to account.
Yeah,
I'm
literally.
going, why do you keep pursuing things? Why are you so desperate to now put an album out, and now to, like, the goal keeps receding, and the hair is receding, and time's slipping away from me, and I wear the lycra shorts to try and pedal my way back to 94 because I'm getting old and I'm trying to stay fit, and it's me. And I'm not criticizing others, I'm criticizing us, I'm criticizing the human tendency to acquire, and so I hope people understand.
This is you thinking about your thoughts again.
Yeah, yeah. People,
Yeah.
I hope people, because I think it's always been a part of my comedy
Mm.
that even when I'm criticizing others, it usually comes back at me. I'm aware of my hypocrisy all the time.
Yeah, you're holding a mirror
I
to
think.
yourself.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope people understand that. Not with the Cardinal Pels song. That's straight up
Yeah.
dissing
Well,
someone
that is
else.
straight
But
up not you.
yeah, that's that. Like, I'm just fucking raining shit on someone else, which I have done a couple of times, but not very
uh,
often.
but we love it when you do.
Good times. Yeah.
What is your favorite track on your album? Which one do you want
I don't
people to
know.
really take away?
I don't know. I want them to listen to the whole record. It's that weird thing that it's got to become a bit of a COVID record, even though all these songs were written and recorded before COVID, and the title obviously is weirdly COVID-y,
Apart
but
together, yeah.
yeah, so weird. But to the extent that it fits in this weird year, it is a reflective year for a lot of people because they're having to sit and think about their values and stuff, and hopefully they have a bit more time. So I really want people to listen to it as a book of short stories, as a I think it's quite nice to listen from the beginning to the end. I like A Part Together just because when Matt Jodrell's trumpet comes in, it just breaks my fucking heart every time. It's such a beautiful tone that boy has. Good Perth virtuoso trumpeter.
There you go.
Um, and
I like with that song that you once put it in an interview that you put the trumpet in because you'd said all that you needed to say.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, we got to the chorus. That's enough. I'll come back in the B section. Yeah. Yeah, really and I like the unconventional form. I think Lonely Tonight's a pretty good song. I'm sick of it now because it's one of the releases, and I had to listen to it too much with the music video and stuff. But I think it's pretty well structured song in its way, and I like the big release at the end.
Yeah, it has a lot of, temptation if you're like, will he do it? Will he not do it? Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You sort of start thinking, oh, maybe he's going to go. That'd be good. I might write that one next. But yeah, I think I like how it gets grand with the Greeks and Jesus, and then comes into just the domestic truth of it. 3-star hotel, Pringles and Snickers, and I like the musical following of that journey from the grand to the intimate, and then the whole instrumental at the end, which is like an orgasmic release that he didn't have an orgasmic release. It's like the relief of not doing it is almost
Yeah.
sexual in its power. It's really weird. Anyway, I like it, but I don't know. They're all just no. I don't. I have a very weird relationship with my own work, but I don't think it's weird. I think it's totally
Healthy.
normal, but it's hard to explain. Yeah. And Absence of You. I actually really like Absence. I mean, it's full blown, super hyper romantic, almost like you can't tell whether I'm joking, but it's I love the Loud Quiet Loud of that. And there's not enough 6/8 rock songs like that is like, I mean, it's usually jazz or, you know, 6/8, or certainly in the last 20 years, there's not been many proper rock songs that kind of are like a waltz.
There just hasn't been a lot of proper rock songs in general. I feel like we're very past that. It's all very, and rock songs these days are just, you know, underlaid with synths and anything like that.
There's heaps of synths, and really it's alt, especially in Australia, alt to the extent that, well, obviously hip hop's taken off and become a whole other thing. Oh yeah. But to the extent that white boys are still rocking, it's pretty alt. And the difference, and the reason I don't belong in this time or in this place, and the reason I'm not particularly fussed by who listens to this record, I just hope some people do, is that the leaning on lyrics, I mean, I'm much more like Randy Newman or a really shit Bob Dylan, or, you know, I mean, there's lots of other people, lots of singer-songwriters, but it's nerdy as fuck. It's quite theatrical stuff, you know. You can smell the theatre on me.
Yeah. Well, you can. I won't lie.
Yeah, the skank.
You love a flair for a bit of drama in your music.
Yeah, a little bit of drama, a bit of a turn, bit of a twist. Yeah.
An orgasmic release at the
shameless. An orgasmic release of non-orgasmic release. It's shameless. I'm shameless. The thing that I'm shameless about, or at least unafraid of, which I think is positive, is that I am not afraid of what I'm trying to do in all my work, in my comedy, my telly and all that, is sitting on the knife edge of tragedy and comedy. You know, there in a lot of my songs, in Plane Goes Down, or in the back end of Airport Piano, you're laughing 1 minute and then feeling a bit like, maybe a little bit teary in the next, or in I Can't Save You, it's all quirky. I'll warn you, your house is on fire, and if you lose your passport in a country where no one speaks English, I'll call the consulate for you, and kidneys and stuff. But it's kind of devastating, or it should be, and that's something I like about the record, is I'm 100% going, this album won't only hopefully make you laugh and cry, but it will make you laugh and cry in the same fucking bar if I've done my job right, you know. And that is something I'm obsessed by, that knife edge. That's kind of what I see as the thing that links all my work together.
Yeah, I think you've definitely like hit the nail on the head with that, and especially with like Airport Piano. I listen to that and the music makes me feel just so happy. But then like you listen to the lyrics and you're like, fuck, this is a bit bleak, isn't it? Like,
it's a bit bleak. It gets dark, man.
Exactly. It does. So you've definitely, as you said, you've sliced me with that knife.
Yeah, I basically am saying I'm emotionally manipulative and proud. Maybe that's a bumper sticker.
It's got a
it's meant
emotionally
to be.
manipulative and
emotionally
proud.
Manipulative and proud. Yeah.
You'll put that on your dating profile.
Maybe that could be a t-shirt, bit of merch. Oh yes, on my Tinder profile when my wife dropped it. Yeah.
Knock on wood. Oh God, you don't want that.
Yeah.
So it's a tough world out there.
It would be non-ideal. Yeah. Among the many problems that would occur if my wife dropped dead, dating would be one of them.
All right. Better let you go. I don't know if you've got back-to-back interviews, but if you have, someone's been pushed out of time horrifically.
All right. Thank you, Tate. You're a freaking legend.
You too.
I'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Have a good one.